Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. On this episode, we're going to be talking about the barn find TORANA once again. So over the last week, we've been diving into the LX, and in the last video, you would have seen that I spoke about after we got the car running, we cleaned it up and it come up looking good. We were going to give the whole car a wet stand and a polish. Well, we've given it a polish and it's come up $1 million. We'll get into showing you all that. And we'll also talk about what else has been happening over the past week. Let's get into it. So as you can see by now, we've polished a big section of the car, and that is just this quarter panel, because I came home after work one day and Dad decided to buff this quarter and it come up really good. I was surprised how well it was. This is without a wet rub and it did come up really good. However, we have come to the conclusion that we do not like the green, and the green is going, and you are going to help us as viewers decide what color we're going to be painting it. Now, this car is not a factory A9X L34, it is just an SL Torana with a V8 in it. So we're going to spice things up. You're going to decide what color it's going to be, and we're going to go through it over the next probably within 3 months time. There's not going to be smashing it out every hour of every day, as I have a day job, and when I come home after work, we'll get stuck into it. So you're going to help us decide, but in the meantime, we're going to talk about what's been happening with the car and what we've done to get it to this stage. All right, well, as you can see, first things first, flares came off. Everything that come off this car, we have bagged. It's gone into a bag, it's been labelled, so we know exactly what it is and what it's for. After the flares come off, we've got into the inside the car. All the door trims, interior has been removed, door molds, door trims, clips, the seals, the pinch weld, everything. Kick panels off, all the screws, all into little glad bags, everything's been labelled. I can't stress how much people strip a car and 9 times out of 10 will freak out because after they've stripped it, they don't know where anything went and they see the car and they do get a bit scared about how deep into it they are and they're not sure how to put it back together. If you bag everything, it makes everything 10 times easier when you go to put it back together. I've done it before and you miss shit and you don't know where it went and then you end up spending money replacing half of it. So obviously when doing a color change, the windows next will be coming out. No point in leaving the windows in. If you're creating sparks, grinding, that shit all ends up damaged. So we'll pull the windows out. Obviously inside and out's gonna get painted, so there was no point in masking it all up just to paint around it. Also, the sunroof. Last week we were fortunate enough to pick up a roof section out of a UC TORANA, so that's gonna be getting filled in. We'll take you through probably on the next video a step-by-step ways in which we're gonna attack the sunroof. So it's not gonna be, I guess, how you should do it or it's the only way to do it. It's just how we're gonna do it. And it's gonna be different from the hatchback we have that also had a sunroof in that. And we welded that one in, whereas this one, we're not gonna weld it in. So stay tuned for the next video and we'll take you through how we are going to do that. Everything that come out of this car, as I said, the trim's been removed. That's all stored into the other shed. Get your shit out of the way. There's no point removing it all and then climbing over everything. Next will be the wheels. I think we've got a couple of HQ wheels, so no point wet rubbing and sanding the car while these are on there. They're a really good conditioned wheel. You're gonna cover them in lolly water. They can come off. In terms of the body of the car, really impressed. The body on it is really good. Apart from a couple of mods, the flares, wouldn't mind cutting into this door a little bit as it hasn't been cut at all. This is just sitting on there, but if this ever goes down too low, if we put a wider tire on it, I'm afraid that will probably end up grabbing one day. So, I mean, there's 10 ways to skin a cat, so to speak, in terms of these cars and the flares. Like, you could put 5 cars together and they're all gonna probably be different. So, as I said, it's nothing special, so, but we're gonna make it special. And the green just didn't cut it for us, so we're gonna probably put it back to a different color that is a bit more of a color that will stand out. So, like I said, door handles out. As we move towards the front, nose cone removed, all the bolts. We're going to replace all the bolts, as you will see under the engine bay. All these bolts along the guards have been painted with the blackouts. They're all going to be getting zinc coated. Every bolt that goes back on the car will be getting zinc coated. A bucket of zinc coated bolts is literally like $100. So if you're pulling bolts off and then you're wire wheeling them and then you're spray painting them, you're wasting your time. Like, most of these bolts you can buy brand new. Rare Spares, I believe, do boxes and kits now. If the bolts are still in good nick, you can get them zinc plated for a very good price. And there's a lot of zinc platers around. Look up your area and you'll be surprised. They're not that dear. So, all right, as we move towards the back of the car, like I said, this body was a really good body. If we look in the car, the floor pan's absolutely mint. Probably one of the best LX sedans I've seen rust-wise. There's next to no rust, if any. And the rust that's in the car has mostly been repaired and repaired pretty well. Inside there's obviously a little bit of green, but you can see that original mandarin red over on the other side there on the floor pans. The dash, probably going to get rid of the wood grain and do that silver like the L34s or the A9Xs were. It's not going to be perfect, as I said. It's just going to be our take on what we kind of want to do and what you as a viewer want to see. So we'll take a look in the boot. And the floor pans in the boot are mint as well. No rust repairs done in here. The only little bit of surface rust is down here where there's water been sitting. It still had the original mat. sitting in the boot like a vinyl mat. So there's been one rust repair and it's down on the passenger side there in the lower quarter, and it's not too bad. So pretty happy overall for a car of this age. Once we pop out the front and rear windows, that's going to be the next telltale sign if it's had any more rust repairs. But so far so good. Apart from the sunroof, we're pretty happy. That's one thing we're not too happy with, so we're going to fill that up. Very common 80s or 90s accessory, but it's got to go now. So tail lights are out, bumpers off, everything is currently being stored in here. Well, most of it anyway. All the flare kit and the bumpers. We're going to change the bumpers as they are color coded, like an SLR 5000 or whatever they are color coded on. We're going to change them up for a chrome ones, just to do it like an L34 theme. As you can see down here, we made a template. So this paper is an outline of the sunroof hole that's cut into the roof of the car currently. And this is obviously the cut piece out of this. This piece down here is the piece we've removed from the UC. The chalk line is a rough guide of the hole exactly that's in the car with a little bit of overhang. And as you can see, there's a little bit of surface rust, but we've just quickly hit that with the orbital sander. But it's important, the reason we've got this is the shape obviously that's in it is like an eggshell, and it needs to go in perfectly to where it was in the UC. So we've marked the dead center of the roof in line with the mirror and these sections, and they will be lined up with the piece that's going into the roof afterwards. We'll take you all through that in the next video, and you'll see how we attack that. And also, while I'm here speaking about the sunroof, if you are in need of an 80s pop-up sunroof and you are interested in the sunroof out of this car, let me know in the comments. I'll throw up my email even. If you are interested, flick me an email. You can have the sunroof. It is all yours. We're probably going to throw it out, but if someone out there has one that's damaged, even the glass, and you are after one, let us know. It's all yours. You can have it. While we are at the front, we are also going to probably change the engine bay. As it is matte black or satin black, as you can see, we're going to change that to body color, as we're going to do it pretty much in theme with an A9X. So if the car goes blue, the engine bay will be blue, and then the blackout separate. So that's another thing that'll need just a general tidy up around the car. It'll come out good. Also, in the last video, you would have seen we spoke about the tailpipes. Now, some people like the old HQ TORANA bark, but we do not like that here. So we've gotten rid of the tailpipes, and we'll start it up. You'll be able to hear it, and it sounds better already. Yes, it is dumped to the diff, and yes, I've had the car running. It is already warmed up. Do not freak out.
Don't have a cardiac arrest.
So as you can hear, sounds killer, but the diff dumper thing, that's only temporary. We'll fix up the exhaust that's under it. We'll merge the middle, so it's got either like a H pipe or an X pipe. It'll sound heaps better, and then we'll get back to putting some tailpipes on it, as it'll obviously need that. Diff dumpers sound good temporary, but honestly they could be a pain in the bum. So we'll sort that out. We've given the engine a service in the meantime, so fresh fluids, new oil filter. Engine is very safe and sound. As I said in the last video, all rebuilt, so we don't have to worry about that. Or the transmission, which is a Trimatic 3-speed, so that is all good and ready to go. So we'll focus on the outside for now, the paint and panel, get this thing straight, and then go from there. Alright guys, we are going to wrap the video up there. I just wanted to do a special shout out to all you new subscribers, everyone that got behind the last video. it absolutely blew up. So I'm surprised. Follow us for the next video. As you'll see, we're gonna do a part stage video segment on this car, getting it straight, setting the gaps, doing the paint and panel work. For now, it's goodbye. We'll see you all on the next one.